Okay, here we are again. Still trying to work on this assignment over 6-6 and just the material from this lesson in general. So I'm taking my time. Hopefully this slow pace is working for you. So yesterday I asked you on this assignment to try number 6 and to try number 7. So I'm going to show you the answers to that now. All right. So number 6 should have turned out to look like this. So this first answer we got with the graphing calculator. We only had to do synthetic division once. We didn't have to use any zeros because it didn't miss anything. And then because there was no x, then we were able to do the square root method. And if any of you put 1i, that's fine. It could say plus or minus 1i. So that's what number 6 should have looked like. Okay, then I'm going to show you number 7. Number 7, you had to do synthetic division twice. Just ignore that up here. So synthetic division, we had to do twice, and we did have to put zeros in because it was missing the x cubed and it was missing the x. So you did have to put zeros in for fillers because it was missing those. So I hope you guys remembered. I hope you caught it. Oh, wait a minute. That's not number 7. That's the one I did with you guys yesterday. I'm so sorry. All right, so I showed you number 6. Now let me show you number 7. Sorry about that. You're all thinking I'm crazy. I am going a little crazy, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so number 7, this was the answer that you got with the calculator. You did not have to use any zeros on your problem because it didn't miss anybody. But once again, you were able to do the square root method. Yay! No quadratic formula. And that's what you should have got on that. So those were the 2 problems I asked you to do yesterday. Okay, so now I am going to this. This is the review for the test over factoring in 6-6. Now, I'm not saying I'm giving you a test. I don't know what I'm doing right now, quite honestly. But this is the paper that I'm looking at the moment, and it's linked on your Canvas calendar, so you guys could pull it up if you wanted to, or you can just watch. It's up to you. Okay, so I am gonna just go over some of these problems, and then I'm gonna have you try a couple like we've been doing the last few days, and then eventually we will move on to a new topic. All right, so number 8. Can you tell me how many complex roots are there? How many complex roots? 3. Whatever the highest exponent is, that's how many complex roots. Or that's how many zeros there are. That's how many answers there are. That's what it means when it says complex roots. So it's just whatever the highest exponent is. All right, look at number 9. How many complex roots? 4. Whatever the highest exponent is, that's how many complex roots, or how many zeros, or how many answers. Okay, then from there, we just start solving like we've been doing for the last several days. So number 10 is going to have 3 answers. All right, so I'm going to put that into my graphing calculator. So here we go. Are you getting used to using this thing? All right, let me go to y equals, and then let's type that equation in. All right, I got to look at it in front of my face. Let me clear this. I've got x raised to the 3rd plus 4x squared minus, oh, look at me. What a mess. I did forget to pop down my cursor by clicking that right arrow. Oh, I'm clearing this off. I'm going to try this again. So I have x to the 3rd, right arrow to get that cursor down, silly me, plus 4x squared minus x minus 10. Okay, and we're going to hit graph. Choo! All right, there are 3 answers. This is clearly a decimal, so he won't do any good. That looks like -2, and that's clearly a decimal. So let's just make sure that -2 is an answer. And yes, it is, because there's a 0 in the y column. All right, so -2 is an answer. So I'm going to write x equals -2. And I'm going to do synthetic division. So first you put the 0 in the box. Pull down the coefficients, drop, drop, drop. So I've got a 1 in front of the x cubed, a 4 in front of the x squared, a -1 in front of the x, and a -10 for the constant. It did not miss anybody. It had everybody. X cubed, x squared, x constant. So no zeros necessary. So bring down the first number. Multiply. -2 times 1 is -2. Add. 4 plus -2 is, +2. -2 times 2, -4. Add. -1 plus -4 is -5. Multiply, and I get 10. Add, and I get 0. Yay! So whenever your remainder is 0, you know that you haven't messed up. And I only had synthetic division to do once because there was only 1 0. And the first time you do it, the exponent goes down once, so that's going to be in front of an x squared. And we need them to be x squareds to be able to solve. All right, so I've got 1 x squared, or just x squared. Then the 2 is in front of the x, so plus 2x. The -5 is the constant. So I'm going to set this equal to 0 and solve. Now, unfortunately, because there's an x, it's quadratic formula time. Tell me, who's my a? 1. There's a 1 in front of that x squared. Who's my b? 2. There's a 2 in front of that x. Who's my c? -5. That's the constant. All right, now the next big task is calculating b squared minus 4ac. Parentheses where the b is, parentheses where the a is, parentheses where the c is. Into my b, I'm going to put a 2. Into my a, I'm going to put a 1. Into my c, I'm going to put a -5. Okay, and then I'm going to calculate that. All right, so in my calculator, I'm going to need to clear out of this, or quit the screen. So second mode quits the screen, second mode. And I have lots of students who just turn off their calculator, so whatever. Parenthesis, 2 squared, close it, minus 4 times 1 times -5. 4 parentheses 1, close it, parentheses -5. And enter. And I get 24. All right, here we go. 24 is what I get. All right, so now we need to know our quadratic formula. So I'm going to sing to you because it makes me feel good about myself and about life in this corona time. It's nice to be able to sing a song. X equals the opposite of b, plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I know I didn't sing it to you at the time when we were at school, and I'm really sorry about that. I felt like a lot of you haven't enjoyed my songs this year, so that makes me sad. But because I don't have to look at you looking at me like I'm a weirdo, then I'm just going to go for it. All right, opposite of b. The opposite of a +2 is a -2. Put your plus minus. Put your square root. b squared minus 4ac. Who did we just find all of that to be? 24. Put your division bar. And then we need to take 2 times our a. So what do you get when you take 2 times 1? 2. All right, our next mission is working on this square root right here. So I cannot take the square root of 24 and get anything pretty, so we're going to break it down. Do you guys know who the largest perfect square is that goes into it? 4. How many times? 6 times. And then what's the square root of 4? 2. And then you can't take the square root of 6. All right, so let's recopy this and replace the square root of 24 with 2 square root of 6. So I've got -2 plus minus I'm going to replace this with 2 square root of 6. I'm going to recopy the all over 2. And now I'm going to simplify. So when you look at your 3 front numbers, can you divide those all by something? Yeah, we can divide them all by 2. What's negative 2 divided by 2? Negative 1. Put your plus minus. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. Put your division bar. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. And then that square root of 6 that was there, just recopy it. And those are our beautiful, lovely answers. What do you think? Was that fun? Okay. I am going to ask you to do 2 problems for me again. So I want you to flip the page on this if you have it in front of you. And if you don't have this in front of you, it's on my Canvas calendar. You just click the link, bam, there it is. Okay, so on the back side, I want you to try number 12 and number 14. So if you've got the paper printed, then do it on there. If you don't, just grab a piece of paper and try the 2 problems on your piece of paper, work them out, and then I'm going to have you take a picture of your work again and put it on Canvas. Okay, so number 12 and number 14. I'm not trying to take up too much of your time each day, but hopefully you guys are getting pretty comfortable with this lesson at this point. You will have to use quadratic formula on this one, just so you know. But this one, number 14, you do not have to use quadratic formula. Okay, so you can celebrate about that. All right, that's it for today. Smiley face.